On September 8, 2025, a woman uploaded an unsettling video involving her mother's in-home daycare. During an ordinary session with a small group of children, one of them suddenly panics and sends the other kids into a frenzy. The footage captured the whole thing, but that's not actually the main reason she decided to post it. Apparently, something else shows up in the recording that has completely rattled her, and she genuinely can't explain it. This is what the camera picked up.
What happened? Were you in there? Were you in there?
No.
Who knocked this over? Who knocked this over?
Maybe it was just yeah, what was it done? I
A playhouse sitting in the corner topples over by itself, despite none of the children being anywhere near it, and it happens just seconds after the panicked child bolts out of the room, clearly disturbed by something he encountered inside. Neither the mother nor anyone present could work out what had frightened him so badly. Then recently, after the video gained traction online, a viewer pointed out a specific detail that might just provide an answer. Needless to say, what they found has left the daycare owner deeply shaken. Pay close attention to what comes next. It wasn't until someone examined the footage carefully that a pair of hands became visible gripping the doorframe. Shortly after the child lets out a piercing scream, whatever it is appears to withdraw back into the room, almost as though it's reacting to him. Now, following an influx of comments, the daughter who originally posted the video comes forward with a follow-up.
To quickly show you exactly what it was that was scaring the little kid that my mom was watching. So pretty much the house, and obviously it's pretty hefty, so it really doesn't make any sense that it would just fall on its own like that. And this is the room. The crazy thing about this is that there was like markings at the top of the entranceway of like the doorway, and I guess in the video you can see hands gripping onto the doorway. I don't really know what to make of that. I thought at first that it was like bugs or something like that, but it looked almost like two hands like gripping on the top, like leading into this room, just like. But the main thing, and the reason that the little boy was screaming, is actually in here. We have this covered up for a reason. Apparently, the little boy told my mom that he saw a face in these mirrors. We already found someone who's going to take it off our hands.
As though things weren't already unsettling enough, we now have an explanation for why the little boy screamed. He had been looking into a vanity mirror and claimed he saw a face staring back at him. Because of this, The family draped a bedsheet over it to keep the children from being frightened. They have no idea whose face it was or what it belonged to, but they've been keeping the kids away from that room entirely, and they intend to maintain that until a buyer who found the mirror on Facebook Marketplace arrives to collect it. Then one night, while checking the security camera feed, the daycare owner's daughter notices the child safety gate swinging open on its own.
That's fucking creepy. Do it again. Like, yeah, okay. Do it again. I'll wait. Do it again. Open the gate.
Something beneath the sheet shifts outward at the exact moment she addresses whatever might be in there and asks it to open the gate. Though nothing follows from that directly, something else happens instead. And it isn't only that which has her attention, it's what begins to appear in the center of the sheet itself. As she stands up and points her camera at the vanity mirror, two small indentations emerge on the fabric, shaped unmistakably like fingers pressing through from the other side. The problem is, there shouldn't be another side. Underneath that sheet is nothing but the mirror, which has no moving parts whatsoever. Yet something is clearly moving. The moment she registers what she's seeing, she tears out of the room in a complete panic. Something had just happened with that mirror, and she has no desire to find out what it was, let alone go back in there. She's since locked the door and made absolutely certain no children can get inside.
We're gonna keep the room closed off from the kiddos for now so they can play.
The room stays sealed while she waits for the buyer to come and take the mirror away. There isn't a whole lot more information beyond this, but even without all the details, it's hard to deny that something about this story gets under your skin, which, as we've come to expect with these kinds of videos, is usually the point. Until anything new surfaces, this one stays firmly in the unsolved column. A deeply unsettling clip posted by TikTok user Mark DeFalco has been rattling audiences ever since it surfaced. Captured in May 2022, the footage opens on the scene of a bizarre accident. A car had somehow veered off course and plowed into a fence at a nearby cemetery. Luckily, none of the headstones were struck. As Mark makes his way toward the vehicle trying to piece together what occurred, things take a deeply uncomfortable turn.
You alright? You okay?
Somewhere in the background, soft sounds begin to emerge, almost like a woman weeping, despite the fact that nobody else appears to be there.
What the hell? What the fuck is going on here? There ain't nobody there, miss?
The unexplained sobbing, combined with the eerie location and the strange nature of the crash itself, leaves a lot of unanswered questions hanging in the air. Commenters wasted no time jumping in with their own explanations, with theories spanning everything from ghostly apparitions to disembodied paranormal voices. True to form, Mark lets his audience draw their own conclusions. encouraging everyone to weigh in with whatever they think might explain what was captured here. A woman recently came forward with a deeply unsettling experience that unfolded right inside her own house. She's no ordinary homeowner either. She works as a psychic medium and runs her own paranormal podcast, so it's safe to say strange occurrences are nothing new to her. But this particular incident hit a little closer to home. She uploaded footage from her home security system, and what it captured is genuinely hard to shake. Her whole family had gathered in the living room for a quiet night in front of the TV. Her husband was relaxed on the couch when things took an unexpected turn. Positioned just behind him was a mannequin head, the type used for hairstyling practice, which made some sense given that her daughter is a trainee hairdresser who uses it for her craft. What didn't make sense, though, was what the mannequin did next. Its head slowly rotated, as if turning to look directly at her husband. He didn't catch it the first time, but when the head shifted again, something in his peripheral vision triggered a reaction. He spun around to look at it, visibly startled. Not everyone online is ready to call this supernatural, however. Several viewers noted that the mannequin's placement near the sofa could have easily hidden someone crouching behind it, and from that angle, a person could have moved the head without ever appearing on camera. So the question remains, judge for yourself. The lens drifts steadily over the ocean floor, sweeping across the silent depths. Nothing seems out of the ordinary at first, just the hush of deep water and a peculiar circular shape sitting motionless below. Yet something about its silhouette keeps drawing the camera back. Then, the shot holds a moment longer than expected. That odd, rounded form with its trailing appendage appears almost too composed, too purposeful. Its surface reflects light in a way that feels wrong somehow, as though something is straining just beneath it. The surrounding water stays undisturbed, but not for much longer. Even completely still, there's an intentionality to its presence, like it's simply biding its time. The closer you examine it, the less natural the whole thing starts to look. We're kicking things off with our very first clip. It's the middle of the night and three brothers are sound asleep in the bedroom they share. Without warning, they're snapped out of their sleep by a strange noise, something scraping or shifting just beyond their window.
Bro, it's coming from my ear.
But it's hot.
No, turn.
I'm just gonna
I don't care.
I'm cracking a little.
No. No.
When they turn to look, what they see sends pure terror through all three of them. A figure, human or otherwise, is staring directly in at them from the darkness outside. The boys let out screams and flee the room in an absolute panic. Sadly, the footage was uploaded with no context or source attached, so we're left with nothing but questions. What exactly was lurking outside that night? And honestly, a separate concern, how much longer can that rattling bunk bed hold together before the kid on the bottom gets absolutely flattened? If that one already had your nerves on edge, you haven't seen anything yet, because what's coming up next is on a whole different level. On April 23rd, 2014, a deeply unsettling piece of footage was posted to Reddit by a user whose identity remains unknown. The video shows a young boy spending time with his pet rabbit while his older brother films the scene, totally oblivious to the fact that something chilling is only moments away from appearing on screen. As the boy continues playing with his rabbit, a bizarre figure suddenly darts across the frame. It appears humanoid, yet only its legs are visible, racing from one edge of the screen to the other. Honestly, even now I genuinely cannot wrap my head around how something like this is possible. How does a human figure move like that with no visible upper body? No one anywhere on the internet has ever come up with a satisfying explanation for this footage, and no matter how many times you watch it back, it just refuses to add up. Either someone edited this clip together, or something truly inexplicable was recorded. But the whole thing feels so spontaneous and offhand, with no apparent motive behind it, which makes deliberate editing seem pretty unlikely. So the question still stands. Was some kind of paranormal presence actually captured here? Does anybody have an answer? Not long ago, a tragic incident unfolded at a school where a young girl passed away right outside the main entrance.
What is happening? I wanted to respect their privacy, but they just put a girl in the back of the ambulance. And the dad was running, and the poor mom was crying her head off.
Ever since that day, students have been whispering about the school being haunted, the girls' classroom in particular, where people claim to hear unexplained tapping noises when the room is completely empty. But the most unsettling part of this story is still to come, because not long after her death was confirmed, one of the teachers stayed late to decorate the classroom and came face to face with something that stopped him cold, right at the desk where that student used to sit.
All right, I'm just finishing up putting up decorations for the students when they get back. I was on the smart board setting things up. I'm taking a step back, and you guys know me. I stay late often. It's just me here and the janitor, and let me show you. Do you see? Do you see? I mean, is that not a kid sitting right there? Yeah. And that's it.
There, in the reflection of the television screen, a shadowy figure appears to be seated at one of the desks. When he checks again the following morning, nothing is there. So could this be the spirit of the girl who died, still tethered to the school, perhaps held back by unfinished business, not yet ready to leave? Our next clip comes from the TikTok account shown here on screen. The account is run by a woman based in Florida who, late one night, was heading to her car when something stopped her in her tracks. A donation bin sitting in the nearby parking lot had caught her eye, specifically several bags of clothing inside it that seemed to be shifting around on their own. Her first instinct was that somebody might be concealed inside, or possibly stuck and unable to get out. Worried, she grabbed her phone.
Just popped out by themselves. Is there someone in there? I think there's someone in there. Is there someone in there? Can't even see. At this point, I think I'm just crazy because how the did the bag get out? No, I don't see anyone in there. So at this point, I just think I'm crazy. That's so weird.
And hit record. She taps on the side of the bin and carefully peers in, only to find absolutely nothing. No one inside, no motion, no indication that anyone had been there at all. The bin appears completely sealed and vacant. What really got under people's skin, though, were the responses flooding the comment section. Multiple viewers brought up documented cases where unhoused people had crawled into donation bins looking for warmth and tragically never came back out. Some feel that what this woman filmed could somehow be tied to those heartbreaking events, as if that spot carries a kind of weight that won't let itself be forgotten. So what's your take? Is this something that can't be explained, or does it feel like a setup? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. One creator known as Stella regularly posts snippets of her everyday life online, never imagining that any of it would blow up, until one particular upload racked up more than 1 million views. On this specific night, her son was at home by himself. Everything in the house was quiet, nothing appearing unusual in the slightest, until Stella's phone buzzed with an alert from her home security system. What started as simple curiosity quickly curdled into something much darker as she pulled up the footage. This is the camera positioned in her dining room, and what it captured was just as disturbing. Just seconds before her son walked into the frame, a deeply unsettling figure materialized in the kitchen, and then, just as suddenly, it was gone. The strange shape moved briskly toward the hallway before dissolving into the shadows, and by the time her son rounded the corner, there was absolutely no trace of it. But where had it gone? There was nobody else in that house, or at least, nobody her son knew about. Anyone who's seen this footage for the first time describes feeling an icy wave wash over them, because it leaves you with one deeply troubling question. Was this a ghost, or an intruder caught in plain sight on camera? On October 18th, 2024, security footage from a school classroom spread rapidly across the internet after students were left genuinely shaken by what it showed. The video was posted by a teacher named Mr. Simon, who had only gone back to review the recordings because one of his students had come to him with a bullying complaint. While scrubbing through the previous night's footage, he noticed a motion alert had been triggered around 10 in the evening. He figured it was probably a janitor, or maybe an intruder, nothing he couldn't explain. What he actually found stopped him cold. At the doorway of the classroom, something becomes visible in the recording. It's subtle at first, but as the camera pans around, it locks onto the shape and holds there. Simon has described it as a hazy, mist-like figure. He's fully convinced that whatever showed up in that room that night wasn't of this world, though the question of exactly what it was still haunts him. One thing seems certain: there's something about Mr. Simon's classroom that doesn't quite add up, and it may be far from done making itself known. A driver was casually filming a late-night stretch of highway when things took a terrifying turn. See for yourself what the camera picked up.
Get that world star! Bro, I know he's too fast, bro. No, he's too fast. Bro, no.
Go on this parking lot right here. Go on this parking lot right here. Go on this parking lot right here. Turn all the way around. Turn all the way around.
He's right there. He's right there. He's right there.
Turn all the way around.
Get that right there.
Turn all the way around. Turn all the way around. So I'm out the regular way.
Bro, hold on. Get the light out my face, bro. I can't see. I want to run up on the car.
Turn around because he gonna.
Hey, son.
Oh, no, he on your side.
No, son. Where you at?
So he right there running down the street.
Bro, hold on. Get the light out my face. Yes. I don't see him.
He's right there. Son, go straight. Look, right there.
Where?
Right there. Go straight. Go to the middle street.
What?
Come on, get him. Wait.
A strange figure materialized at the edge of the road and, without any warning, launched into a full sprint directly toward the vehicle. The driver's first instinct was that this might be someone in distress, but the man's movements were too erratic, too aggressive to be anything normal. As he closed the distance, the footage caught something that made the driver's blood run cold. His eyes appeared to catch the light in a deeply unsettling way, almost as though they were lit from within. The driver floored it and managed to get away, but only just barely. Our next clip comes from Telegram, posted by a barber who claims his security camera recorded something he simply cannot make sense of. He says nothing remotely like this has occurred in his shop before, and he's still trying to find a rational explanation for what went down. See for yourself what his camera picked up. Both of the cover sheets draped over the chairs shift slightly on their own, something you could chalk up to a breeze or a nearby fan, but then the sheet on the left starts, behaving in a way that suggests something is seated beneath it. It rises up off the chair, and yet there's nobody standing behind it, and nothing hiding underneath. One of the barber's companions gets so unsettled that he turns around and walks straight out the door. Neither of them actually noticed it happening in the moment, but when they pulled up the CCTV footage afterward, they were completely. In March 2025, YouTuber Dustin Frazier made his way back to the legendary Elkmont ghost town along the Appalachian Trail, a location notorious for its century-old derelict cabins, unsettling quiet, and regular run-ins with wildlife. As he and his crew stepped inside the first restored structure, the biting cold, low light, and hollow stillness wasted no time establishing the mood for the evening. But even before they had a chance to venture deeper, an uneasy tension began to settle over the cabin. What followed was a subtle signal that something was off, and that was well before things got truly frightening.
Okay, hello guys. So, we are here at Elkmont. So, it's cold, but we decided to come up here. We haven't been in... Fuck, why is the light going off? We are going in the first house. Oh, Justin's here.
I'm shivering.
He's cold. So, let's go.
You're in shorts. Like in
Yeah.
shorts.
But, so they started, like, restoring these houses here. They won't believe you. Yeah, they've been working on them for quite a while. But, like, look at the different, just, I don't know, just how they built, like...
She's a vintage. Look at the architect.
Most content creators will push boundaries for the sake of their next upload, and while that hustle keeps their channels alive, the fallout is often something they never saw coming. Everything appeared fine right up until the moment something lurking in the dark, something that had no intention of being found, stirred awake, and by then, there was no turning back.
I can't come in, I'm a bitch. Look at the architecture.
It's the architecture.
Don't run, just... Go. What the fuck is that? What the fuck? What the fucking run! What the go, 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 go.
Luckily for Dustin and everyone watching, he got out before ever identifying what that creature actually was, leaving the whole unsettling question unanswered for whoever dares to go next. Still, it's hard not to think about what might have unfolded if he had hesitated even a few seconds longer, and how that small window of time could have completely altered the outcome for his entire group. Our first clip was posted by a social media user going by the name Biania, and it comes from the city of Karachi, Pakistan. Biania says the footage was captured by a security camera inside a call center, and what it recorded has left a lot of people seriously unsettled. Without any warning, multiple chairs scattered around the room topple backward, all at once. The worker on camera wastes no time getting out of there, jumping clean over the fallen chairs as he bolts for the exit. But here's where things get even more disturbing. According to the employee, this kind of bizarre, inexplicable activity is nothing new at this particular workplace. Other staff members at the same call center have reported witnessing objects shifting and moving on their own throughout the office, and some have gone even further, claiming that things have actually been hurled at them by something completely invisible. So what is actually happening here? A large number of viewers believe this Karachi call center may be home to some kind of supernatural presence. But I want to hear your take. Does this look paranormal to you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Late one night, a household was disturbed by strange noises drifting in from outside. When they peered toward the tree line, they spotted two glowing red eyes fixed directly on their house. Someone grabbed a camera and hit record. Throughout the footage, those eyes remained completely still. No movement, no blinking. Whatever it was, it didn't resemble any known person or creature. The atmosphere around the house was eerily hushed, absent of wind, insects, or any ambient sound whatsoever. The people filming were visibly terrified. Unfortunately, no follow-up was ever shared after the video went up online. To this day, what was lurking outside that home remains a complete mystery. Picture spending 3 full years in a home and then realizing you barely scratched the surface of what it actually contained. It sounds like an overstatement, but this is precisely what one woman experienced, and you'll want to pay close attention because what she uncovered left a lot of people genuinely rattled. After all that time under the same roof, she decided to properly investigate her attic. That's where she stumbled onto something she had never encountered before, a concealed room that felt completely out of place. The moment she started recording, unsettling details began emerging one by one. Among them was a hole in the wall, a hole that appeared to be concealing something far more disturbing. That's where everything started to unravel.
Room up in my attic, and I want to show you guys what I found in here, but first, look at this. I've been up here 2 times. I've lived in this house for 3 years, and I've been here. This will be my 2nd time. And I started doing some picking up, but that's my house down there. And this is, so if you close the door, look how tiny it is. But look at the doorknob. It's literally a foot away from the ground. Look at that. Isn't that weird? Okay, so anyways, let me just open that up real quick. I found this little guy up here. He has like a little thing to put batteries, which I'm going to try and see if it works. That'll be so cool, but it's so old and dusty. And I found him back here in this hole. I covered it back up.
Inside, she discovered an old baby carriage and a beat-up armchair. And here's the part that stops you cold. She claims she has absolutely no explanation for how those items ended up in there, which, when you think about it, actually tracks. The only way into that space is through a tiny gap, far too narrow for anything that size to have been brought through. No stairs, no doorway, no secondary entrance. And that's all before getting to what she found inside the wall itself. A theory surfaced in the comments that made the whole thing even more chilling. Viewers started referencing something called a room of disappointment. The term was used between the 16th and 19th centuries to describe concealed chambers built into older homes, spaces designed to keep family members with physical or mental disabilities hidden away from society, and in many cases, from their own relatives. It's a genuinely heavy concept, and given just how completely cut off that attic space is, many people became convinced it may have served that very purpose. But the most disturbing detail hadn't even arrived yet. While she was capturing the footage, something stopped her immediately. This is the moment that becomes nearly impossible to dismiss.
It's full of things.
As she directs her flashlight into the gap in the wall, you can see there's an opening on the far side, and if you look closely, right at that moment in the recording, something appears to shift, something that doesn't belong. The shape bears a striking resemblance to a human head. It's not definitive, but it doesn't read as a simple lighting artifact either. Determined to get answers, she went back and filmed a 2nd time. Her goal was to trace where that opening actually led. She walked the entire house, measured the walls, compared the dimensions, and came up empty. No hidden room, no concealed passage, no section of the floor plan that accounted for the space behind that wall. It was as though a portion of the house simply didn't exist on paper. Her current plan is to clear everything out and convert the space into basic storage. But the cleanup itself brought more surprises. Old trophies, children's toys, and various forgotten objects scattered around as though they had been left behind and never thought about again. The true story of that room may never fully surface. There are no solid records, no clear-cut answers, but whatever appeared in that footage, whatever it was, is deeply unsettling at minimum, and the questions it raises are still very much open. The next clip of the night comes from a channel called Alien 6467, dedicated to urban exploration and unraveling mysteries. The person behind the channel, along with a friend, ventures into forgotten and abandoned locations, capturing unsettling discoveries that often carry a paranormal edge. It's May 11th, 2013, and Alien 6467 and their companion have been pulled toward an abandoned White House in Southwood, New York, simply because something about it felt deeply off. Once they step inside, the strange details start piling up fast. Spray painted on the wall are the words #vengeance, and scattered throughout the space are numerous bags, each one containing a single coin. The whole setup feels deliberately arranged, and that sense of purpose makes it all the more chilling as they push deeper into the building.
All this money in the thing. What does that mean?
I don't know. Let's look and see what they are. Oh wait, some of them have water in them. Look on top of the mantle. They have water. Hey, somebody, you know what? Look at this.
The moment they cross the threshold, it becomes clear something is very wrong. Plastic bags litter the entire space, some holding a lone penny, others filled with nothing but water, and disturbingly, many of these bags have been stapled directly to the walls, positioned right below that spray-painted word, vengeance. This isn't the kind of thing you'd chalk up to a ghost story or a random trespasser. Even so, it ranks among the most genuinely unsettling things they've stumbled upon inside an abandoned structure. Digging further, they make yet another baffling find. Tucked away beneath the floorboards, in a concealed gap, more water-filled plastic bags have been carefully placed. What on earth does any of this add up to? Could it be some form of ritual, a cryptic message intended for someone specific, or the obsessive handiwork of a deeply troubled individual? The more they look, the fewer answers they find, and the more questions pile up for the rest of us. What's your take on all of this? Who would go to these lengths, and what could possibly be the reason? Drop your theories in the comments below. A dad and his young son were hanging out in the living room, waiting for Mum to get back home, when things took a deeply unsettling turn. The little boy, Bentley, had grabbed some pots and pans, and was going to town on them like a drum set, so his father, Walter, pulled out his phone and hit record. His plan was to shoot a quick clip to send to his wife, something she'd probably plaster all over her Facebook, but he had absolutely no idea what was about to show up in the footage.
Whoa!
Out of nowhere, the door visible in the background swings open on its own, and right after that, a children's toy sitting in front of it topples over. What makes this so hard to explain is that these two were the only ones in the house at the time, which rules out any logical reason for either of those things to happen. The family has since begun the process of cleansing their home. One solo urban explorer decided to venture into the abandoned structure by himself. Armed with nothing but a flashlight, he made his way through the pitch-black corridors, and right as he rounded a corner, something stopped him in his tracks. A dark silhouette momentarily appeared in the hallway, stretching out before him. It disappeared just as fast as it had shown up, leaving him both baffled and on edge. He moved toward where he had seen it, hoping there was some rational explanation, but there was nothing there. More puzzling than terrifying, the experience still left him deep.
Oscar.
A woman set out to get some close-up footage of a deer, only to unknowingly capture something far more unsettling lurking in the background. When the clip is zoomed in, a dark, shadowy shape emerges, one that looks strikingly like a figure draped in a black cloak or long dress. Whatever it was showed no reaction to her being there, and she's adamant that no one else was around that day. It wasn't until she sat down to review the recording that she spotted it, and since then she's been left completely baffled and shaken. The following clip was recorded on the night of November 5th of 2023. Just before 8 p.m., a driver was moving along a dark rural highway in Thailand. One of those long, straight stretches where your eyes settle into the rhythm of the road and you stop, really looking. The dash cam was running, as it always does, capturing nothing out of the ordinary, just headlights and open road. And for 16 seconds, that's exactly all it was, until he saw something strange. Watch. The headlights catch something walking, a pale, humanoid figure, contorted in a way that doesn't look right. But what makes this footage so unsettling isn't just the sighting itself, it's the fact that the driver didn't see any trace of it in his rearview mirror. And this is the most difficult part to explain, because if what he saw had been a person, or even an animal, caught in the headlights, there should have been at least a brief continuation of motion behind the vehicle, something to confirm its physical presence in that space. Yet instead, it disappears in a way that feels abrupt and unnatural. Some viewers, particularly those familiar with Southeast Asian folklore, have pointed toward the idea of road spirits, entities believed in parts of Thai tradition to appear along isolated highways, especially at night, often manifesting suddenly in front of travelers, sometimes in distorted or unsettling forms, with the intention of startling them, confusing them, or in some accounts, even luring them into dangerous situations. With no clear explanation, no follow-up that confirms what was actually on that road that night, and no evidence that fully resolves what the driver experienced, the footage remains one of those moments that sits uncomfortably between logic and the unknown, still unexplained. This next video is about a man who has been documenting a series of increasingly disturbing events inside his house. Incidents that don't stay isolated, but seem to build on each other, each one pushing the situation further into something far more difficult to explain or ignore. At around 10 p.m., he's inside his home when he notices something unusual. His duffel bag shifting slightly, the kind of movement you might first attribute to a rodent trapped inside, something small trying to find a way out. And at that point, it still feels like something that can be explained. But then this happens. Watch. A pale hand comes out of the bag, but when he unzips it, he finds nothing but folded fabric inside. No animal, no person, no explanation. That alone would be enough to rattle most people, but whatever was happening in that house wasn't finished. Watch. When he opens the door, there's someone there, but inside of the closet there is nothing but clothes. Some would call this classic poltergeist behavior. The term comes from the German words for noisy ghost, and in paranormal tradition, it describes a type of entity associated with violent physical disturbances, rather than quiet, passive haunting. Poltergeist activity tends to escalate, rarely staying at one intensity level for long, which is what makes the next clip so hard to shake. Earlier that same day, at 5 p.m., he begins to hear something else, a faint humming sound somewhere in the house. For just a moment, the glass lid of the machine reflects the face of a woman, dark hair, eyes closed, still, before the camera jerks away in absolute panic. When he works up the courage to go back and check, the woman is gone. What the camera does find, at the bottom of the drum through the glass lid, is a small, pale doll with dark hair, lying inside the empty machine. And then, as if the sequence of events wasn't already enough, there's laughter, as if whatever is behind these events is aware and entertained. So a bag moving on its own, a closet that seems occupied one moment and empty the next, and a woman's face appearing in glass, all in the same house. What do you make of that? Now in this next clip, a man is out walking a wooded trail during the day, bright sunlight filtering through the trees, a quiet path, nothing about it that should put you on edge. Suddenly something stops him, a rabbit. Sitting completely still in the middle of the dirt path, he found it strange enough to start recording, and then he noticed something else. The woods had gone completely silent. No birds, no rustling, nothing. That kind of silence, according to people who spend time in dense forest, is never a good sign. Before he knew it, this happened. Watch. A loud, high-pitched wailing erupts from the trees to his left. Not quite an animal, not quite human, somewhere deeply unsettling in between. He runs immediately, the camera catching nothing but blurred ground and frantic footsteps. There's a saying often repeated by those who spend time deep in the wilderness, that there are things in the woods older and more powerful than we can fully understand. Things that don't always reveal themselves directly, but instead use sound, mimicry, or subtle behavior to draw people closer. After he posted the video, reactions were divided in a way that only made the situation more unsettling, because while some people believed it could have been a real person in danger, someone genuinely calling for help and not receiving it because fear took over, others argued the exact opposite, saying that responding to something like that, especially in an isolated area, is one of the most common ways people get lured into dangerous situations, whether by other humans or something far less explainable. And that's where the question becomes personal, because in a moment like that, where fear and instinct collide with the possibility of someone needing help, what would you have done? This next video comes from a man who's been dealing with something persistent inside his home. Whatever it is, it doesn't seem to care what time it is, and it especially doesn't seem to care that he's trying to sleep. The first clip was recorded at around 3:33 a.m. when he woke up to a strange sound coming from somewhere in the room. He grabbed his phone, still half asleep, and decided to go find the source himself. Watch.
Okay. This goddamn sound is still going. Let me check it out. Maybe I can catch it on video or something. Where are you, damn raccoons?
As he approaches the door and opens it, the sound stops instantly, cutting off in a way that feels too precise to be random. And in that moment, still half asleep, he convinces himself it must have been something ordinary, maybe a raccoon or some kind of animal moving around outside or within the walls, something explainable, something he doesn't have to think too deeply about. But that explanation doesn't hold for long, because not long after, while he's away at work, he receives a notification from his home security camera, alerting him that motion has been detected inside the house, which immediately raises concern, since no one is supposed to be there at that time. When he checks the footage, this is what he sees. The frame appears empty at first, no visible intruder, no movement that can be easily identified, but then the door opens in a way that suggests something is on the other side. And even though nothing can be seen, the audio tells a different story. Sounds of movement inside the space, as if someone or something is moving around freely within the house. And then the door closes itself. At that point, the earlier explanation of a raccoon no longer fits, not with the timing, not with the force, and certainly not with the sequence of events captured on camera. Some would interpret this as a classic case of an intelligent presence, rather than a residual one, something aware of its surroundings, capable of interacting with physical objects, and possibly even reacting to the absence of the homeowner, choosing moments when the house is empty to move more freely. And what makes it more unsettling is the progression, starting with subtle sounds that can be dismissed, then moving into clear physical interaction that becomes much harder to ignore, almost as if whatever is behind it is becoming more confident over time, with no clear explanation, no confirmation of what was actually inside that whorehouse, and no updates that clarify whether the activity continued or stopped. This situation remains unresolved, leaving more questions than answers behind. This next clip was captured inside a fast food restaurant, an ordinary, well-lit space where someone was filming a co-worker named Fran during what looked like a completely normal shift. The person holding the phone calls out to her. Fran turns around smiling, and nothing about the moment seems unusual at all. But this video resurfaced as a Snapchat memory, and when the filmer watched it back, she noticed something she'd completely missed the first time. Watch her. Near the counter, right by the trash receptacle, something can be seen in the frame, a shape that, when you focus on it, starts to resemble a face, positioned in a way that makes it look like it's staring directly outward. What makes this detail even more unsettling is the backstory tied to the location itself. Before it became a restaurant, the building reportedly went through multiple uses over the years, including a period where it sat abandoned after a fire incident that, according to local accounts, didn't just damage the structure, but was linked to an accident that took place inside. While official records remain unclear, stories from former workers and nearby residents suggest that after reopening, employees occasionally reported strange occurrences, unexplained reflections in metal surfaces, figures caught briefly in peripheral vision, and the unsettling feeling of being watched even during busy hours. Now, if there's even a chance that something is there, quietly watching, unnoticed, during everyday moments, then it raises a bigger question about how much we miss simply because we're not looking closely enough. We can only hope this is enough to make the owners of the space take a closer look before something like this stops being so easy to dismiss. The following clip was recorded by a girl on her 15th birthday. The house was full of relatives, music playing in the background, wrapping paper scattered across the floor as she laughed and unwrapped gift after gift. At one point, she picked up her phone to film a short video for her school friends, wanting to show them one of the dolls she had just received. But before she could even finish the video, something happened. Watch.
Bueno, aquí les presentamos a la muñeca de Bessie que se la regalaron a sus 15 años.
No manches, mira.
As she holds the doll up, its head slowly turns toward her. It rotates deliberately, stopping at an angle that makes it appear as though it's looking directly at her, but there's no visible mechanism inside it. No motor, no battery compartment, no switch. After seeing the video, her parents immediately took the doll away, but the panic wasn't just about the movement, it was about where it came from. The doll may have been purchased by a guest from a thrift store, meaning its history was completely unknown, and that's where the fear deepens. In paranormal lore, objects, especially dolls, are often described as vessels, not because they're inherently evil, but because their human-like features make them symbolic anchors. If something were attached to that doll, removing it from sight wouldn't necessarily remove the attachment itself. Some believe that once an object has been inside a home, whatever is connected to it can linger even after it's discarded. There are countless stories online of people throwing dolls away, only to find them returned to their porch, back in storage boxes, or replaced by unexplained activity inside the house. Others claim that after attempting to burn or destroy items like this, the disturbances escalated, lights flickering, doors opening at night, shadows appearing more frequently. If you were in that situation, if you saw that head turn on its own, what would you have done? Would you throw it away and hope that ends it? Or would you try to cleanse the house? I'd love to hear your thoughts. This next video was captured on a man's Ring camera late at night, and ever since reviewing the footage, he says he hasn't been able to look at his front yard the same way again. Watch.
Caught this on my Ring camera last night.
The movement started from here, and what immediately stands out is the way it moves. It doesn't scatter or disperse like dust caught in infrared light. It holds its shape. The outline remains strangely consistent, almost compact, as it floats forward. Many viewers initially suggested it could be dust, pollen, or an insect passing close to the lens. But typical dust particles caught in night vision tend to expand, blur, or fragment as they move. This form doesn't behave that way. It travels in a controlled path, maintaining structure before slowly fading from view. But that's not the only unsettling detail. In the audio, a faint voice can be heard, like a little girl saying, "We're here." The footage was recorded around 3 a.m., and at this time, no kid should be outside playing. Investigators sometimes warn that entities may mimic children's voices to seem harmless, drawing attention or curiosity rather than fear. But the phrase itself is unsettling. We're here, not I'm here, plural. If it was a trick of the audio system, it's an incredibly eerie coincidence. If it was a child's voice from somewhere off camera, why does it sound so close to the microphone? And if it wasn't either of those things, then what exactly was floating across his yard that night? And if that voice truly said what it sounds like it said, then the question isn't just what was there, but how many. Now in this next clip, a man known online for his extensive doll collection captures something unsettling inside his daughter's bedroom, and it happens while she's asleep. He says it was a normal afternoon, his little girl was taking her nap, the house was quiet, and he was in the living room when he suddenly began hearing loud tapping sounds coming from her room. Listen closely.
What is that? See, it ain't my daughter because she's napping right there on the bed. It sounds like her closet door, though. Try not to wake her up. See, I don't know. No, it's not doing it. See, she's snapping right.
There was no one else in her room, and there was no visible movement near her crib or bed. And then, after a short while, something else happens.
Whatever it was not even waking her up. Nah. Come on, man, she's in here sleeping. That didn't even wake her up. Come on, man. You need to get out of her room. Dude, I'm telling you, that thing was closed, right? play somewhere else. What the man? You need to stay out of her room.
People familiar with this family already know that the man collects dolls, dozens of them, many antique, some with glass eyes, some displayed throughout the house. Over time, viewers have also claimed to spot strange shadows in the background of previous videos, objects slightly repositioned between cuts, and unexplained noises when no one else was home. Yet despite all of this, he continues to insist that whatever is in the house feels friendly. But that belief is what unsettles many viewers the most, because entities that begin subtly, tapping, knocking, light movement, don't always stay subtle. Some investigators warn that labeling something friendly too quickly can lower natural caution, especially when children are involved. So what exactly is sharing that house with them? I'd love to hear what you think about this one. The following video is about a man who claims the activity in his home became so disturbing that he eventually had to leave and stay at his girlfriend's house just to get a break from it. It started with small disruptions, unexplained bangs in the middle of the night, doors clicking shut when no one was near them, and lights that would suddenly shut off and remain off for several long, deliberate minutes before turning back on by themselves. He describes those moments as the worst part, standing in complete darkness at 4 a.m., waiting, feeling as if something was intentionally holding the room in silence before restoring the light. Then one morning, around 4 a.m., he woke up to the sound of laughter clear enough that his first instinct was to assume it was his TV, but when he checked, the television wasn't even on. Some viewers tried to analyze his situation, but to prove that it wasn't just the house, he decided to leave for a few days and stay at his girlfriend's place. He believed that if the disturbances stopped, then the house was the source. Watch.
So yeah, I've been staying at my girlfriend's house, but guess what, guys? You're not gonna f***ing believe it. The ghosts have followed me here. And she's bugging the f*** out. Her mother is bugging the f*** out. And I'm bugging the f*** out. I mean, I guess I should have expected this, but let's just see what's been going on. Her door has been opening in the middle of the night. This closet door has been opening up in the middle of the night, and it's like hard as to open. We put shit in front of it so it wouldn't open. Hearing all types of knocks, hearing people run up and down the stairs. I mean, this house is 100 years old. And then to top it all off, my girlfriend goes in the shower today, and on the mirror it says, "We are here," and the writing is fucked up.
Look at the R. It's like look at the R. Why is it? Oh my god, I'm not doing this shit. I gotta move out. What the? I gotta move out.
Yeah, so that was on the mirror. I mean, it looks like anybody could have written that, but in person, the way it was written is mad weird. It's like squiggly lines. Her mom tried cleaning it with Windex and it wouldn't come off. And then after all that shit happens, her mom goes downstairs, and she's a very religious woman, and she has like this little, I guess, Bible, would you say it is, or what is it? I guess
it's a regular Bible.
Like a Bible.
I'm also sick. I don't have one.
Yeah. So she goes downstairs and looks at it, and she left it closed. She goes down and looks at it, and it's open on the same exact page that her husband and her father died. The same exact day, May 22nd, it says it in the book.
What it says on the page is very like you were meant to hear it kind of thing. Like it was just like so weird timing and just like a weird
So we're thinking maybe her dad is trying to protect them from whatever I brought in their house. What do you guys think?
According to him, his girlfriend and her mother had never experienced anything unusual in that house before he arrived. To him, this isn't a haunted house situation. It's something attached to him, something that follows him wherever he goes. But there's another layer. He mentions that his girlfriend's house is over 100 years old. Some speculate that perhaps his presence didn't bring anything. Maybe it just triggered something already dormant there. In paranormal belief, certain individuals are thought to act as catalysts, unintentionally amplifying or awakening existing energy in a location. Still, what unsettled people most was when he started having dreams.
What's up? So, I've been MIA. I came back from Cancun, and yeah, I'm tan now. But some wild shit happened to me the other night, and my eyes are going a little bit. But I'm here at my girlfriend's house, and it was around, I swear to God, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
It was 3:30, like on the dot. It was like 3:20, 3:29, 3:20.
And I started, she said I was freaking out in my sleep.
I woke up to uncontrollably shaking right next to me, like literally freaking out, like not screaming, but like loud enough to wake me. And he was freaking out, shaking like a seizure almost.
Yeah, and I had no recollection of it at all. Nothing.
Said his name about 10 times, wouldn't wake up. I smacked him so hard across the face, and that's when he shot up.
And I woke up, and I told her I had this insane dream that I was in my house, and like, I don't know what happened. I thought I was sleeping in my room, and I started getting carried away by, looked like, I don't know, these dark shadow figures. They had like these big nails and teeth and crazy eyes, and I literally got picked up by them, and they were carrying me away. And then I told her that, and then I was like, yo, I have this crazy pain on my arm, and I shit you not, yo, this is legit, like this is real. Like Grayson here is like freaked out about it, and so am I. Wait till you see this shit, bro. Wait till you see this shit. Look at that shit. Look at that shit. As soon as she woke me up, I felt something like pain on my arm. And look at that. As hard as she scratches, no matter how hard she scratches, it will not go into my arm like that.
No, this is crazy.
Didn't I tell you though, when I woke up my arm was hurting?
Yeah, it's 3.
And it's literally 3 scratches. 2 long ones and a short one.
Vivid dreams involving attack, paralysis, or shadow entities are sometimes interpreted as spiritual oppression, especially when they are accompanied by physical sensations. To make matters worse, he began waking up with unexplained marks on his body, and this made many people believe whatever is in that house is after him. But I'll leave you to be the judge of this one. Now, in this next video, a man is simply filming an update for his followers. He explains that he's recently been uploading more political clips instead of his usual original content because he lost hours at his job and is currently searching for a new one. According to him, political topics are easier to gain traction with, and right now, views matter. While he was filming, this happened. Watch closely.
Alright guys, gonna try and make this one quick. This is just kind of update video. People have been wondering why I've been uploading so many news clips, so many political videos, and why I haven't been uploading any original content lately. As you should know, the American election just happened, and I was getting kind of one video. If you follow my channel, you would know it has 28,000 views. And I tried essentially recreating that and getting a lot of views, through those political videos. Unsuccessfully, might I add. basically what I'm getting at is, in order to fill in the lack of original videos, I've been doing these political clip videos. And the reasoning behind that is because here at home, things are a little difficult. I didn't lose my job, but I lost a lot of hours. And I'm looking for new employment, which is inhibiting me from creating new content. It makes it a lot easier for me if I can just, find a video clip of some politician or some news anchor saying something really stupid and get some views from that, than it is. It's easier for me to get views from that than it is, new content at the moment. So just what I'm saying is bear with me. Yeah. It was weird. Got that on tape. Yeah, that. I know you guys aren't gonna believe that really just happened, but as you can see, there's no one in the room with me here. I've kind of chose this room because it was the only room in my house without someone in here. Yeah, that was guys. This isn't. It's a string, right? But that's just kind of an Ethernet cable. You could, Hey guys, that was pretty weird.
People often claim that activity can begin subtly, small disturbances, objects shifting, electronics malfunctioning, before escalating into something more noticeable. There's also the psychological layer. He mentions stress about work, finances, and change, and in certain beliefs, heightened emotional states are said to amplify unexplained phenomena, as if strong energy draws attention from something unseen. We can only hope this was a one-off situation, and not the beginning of something deciding to make itself known. In the following clip, a group of paranormal investigators acquire 2 dolls from separate owners who both claimed the objects were responsible for disturbing activity inside their homes. According to the previous owners, one of the dolls had been linked to persistent knocking sounds that seemed to follow it from room to room. Lights would flicker whenever it was moved, and one family claimed they repeatedly found it repositioned in places they were certain they hadn't left it. The second doll, the one dressed in a red cloth, was reportedly associated with whispering sounds at night and sudden cold spots that formed specifically around the shelf where it sat. One owner even said her child refused to sleep in the same room with it after insisting the doll blinked. Rather than destroy them, the investigators decided to document everything carefully. They placed both dolls on a table in a controlled setting and began a spirit box session, asking direct questions to see if any responses would come through. That's when something happened. Watch.
Light her back up to red. Look.
No! Bring that camera over here!
Oh god, he moved!
Still moving.
Did you catch it moving?
I think I did. I don't know. I tried to run.
Again.
Look! You see it move? I caught it moving.
Yeah.
If you look closely at the doll with the red cloth, its head appears to shift slightly to the side. It is believed that objects that have been repeatedly associated with fear, attention, and belief can sometimes become what investigators call trigger objects, meaning they act as focal points for activity because of the emotional energy surrounding them. The red cloth itself also caught viewers' attention. In certain folklore traditions, red fabric is believed to either attract or contain spiritual energy, depending on how it's used. If the doll did move on its own, then the implication is clear. Whatever the previous owners were experiencing may not have been imagination. So if something truly is attached to it, then is bringing it into a new environment going to quiet it, or will it simply give it a new audience? Now in this next video, a man named Chris and his wife decided to install security cameras throughout their home after weeks of increasingly strange activity that neither of them could logically explain. It started subtly, small things out of place, the dogs staring into corners of the room and growling at nothing visible, footsteps echoing faintly down the hallway after midnight. A few times, they heard what sounded like someone shifting their weight in the living room while they were upstairs. Once, Chris swears he heard a sigh directly behind him when no one was there. Eventually, they stopped brushing it off and installed cameras to see whether the disturbances had a visible source. One night, Chris was sitting in the living room with the dogs resting nearby when something happened that changed how he viewed the house entirely. Watch. In the footage, a chair begins to tilt backward as if someone were physically leaning into it, applying steady pressure with their weight. What makes it more unsettling is the dog's reaction and how they immediately become alert. And then there's the earlier activity, the footsteps, the sigh, the dogs reacting to empty space. When you layer those experiences together, the chair becomes harder to dismiss as coincidence. If someone unseen truly leaned back into that chair, then the implication is chilling. Chris may not have been alone in that living room, but until more updates are shared, this remains a mystery. This next video was recorded by Josh, another paranormal investigator, and his team, who spent 2 nights investigating the childhood church of Jim Jones in Lynn, a quiet town that still carries the weight of a dark and disturbing legacy. Long before he became the infamous leader of the People's Temple, Jim Jones attended this very church as a boy, walking its halls, sitting in its pews, and developing the beliefs that would later influence one of the most tragic cult events in history. What makes this location especially unsettling is the idea that everything started here. The team, consisting of 3 brothers, Josh, Rocky, and Sean, entered the church hoping to understand why it is considered haunted and whether something connected to Jim Jones still lingered there.
Coffin. Where's the coffin at? Dude, when you look out to the darkness, you just picture, it feels like 100 people out in the darkness just staring at you. It is so freaking cold down here. Who is the man that stays down here?
Slam.
Slam. I dare you to slam something.
Why?
Because I want to hear you. If you do loud stuff, that lets me know you're in
Purgatory.
here. Purgatory. Are you stuck in purgatory? You remember Jim Jones being here at this church?
Do not.
You don't? We know Jim Jones came here for many years as a child, then he moved on and became a reverend at different churches. And then they did some very bad things.
Jim.
Whoa! Holy. Okay, that was loud. Holy crap. Okay, I'm gonna move back here. Something so freaking loud.
As they moved deeper into the church, with over 1,000 people watching the investigation live, something was caught on camera. Watch.
I feel like if we're gonna catch something, it's gonna be in the basement.
Well, I think we need to go up to the attic. Or it'd be better if I just filmed the screen. Like if they're just watching the screen, that I won't need this light on. What do you think?
Within seconds, viewers watching the live stream began flooding the chat with warnings, pointing out a strange figure that appeared in the stairwell. What makes this moment so disturbing is that in earlier footage, the stairwell was completely empty. Nothing was there that could explain the sudden appearance of this figure. So is it possible that something connected to Jim Jones still exists there? Some paranormal researchers believe that spirits are often drawn to places that shaped them the most, locations tied to their identity, their emotions, and their transformation. This church wasn't just a random building in his life. It was where his path began, where his beliefs were formed, and where he first began developing the influence he would later have over so many people. For now, this remains a mystery. Now, in this next video, some explorers decided to investigate an abandoned military hangar that had been active from World War II all the way through the 1990s, a place that once held aircraft, personnel, and decades of military operations, but had since been left to decay in silence. Buildings like this often carry layers of history, and while they expected to find dust, rust, and forgotten equipment, they did not expect to find something watching them. From the moment they stepped inside, they began hearing strange noises echoing through the massive, empty structure. At first, they tried to rationalize it, blaming it on the wind forcing its way through broken panels or loose metal shifting under its own weight. Then, this happened. Watch.
That shit, man. Did it even get through here? Look at this fucking. Holy shit, bro! There's no way. Whatever that. Listen. That's just thunder. That thunderbolt. What was that? no.
In the footage, a strange figure can be seen watching them from a distance, but when they reached the exact spot where the figure had been standing, there was nothing. No person, no animal, and no place for someone to hide or escape in that short amount of time. Some believe this could be what investigators call a shadow person, entities often reported in abandoned locations, especially places tied to intense emotional energy, trauma, or prolonged human activity. Others believe this could have been the spirit of someone who once worked there, possibly a soldier or personnel who spent years inside those walls, whose presence never truly left, continuing to patrol the same grounds long after the base was abandoned. The way this figure remained at a distance, concealed in shadow, and vanished the moment they approached, makes some wonder if they were being watched the entire time. In the following video, a man shares the unusual and deeply unsettling thing that's been happening inside his apartment. Something he had tried to explain to friends and family for months, but no one truly believed him. According to him, the activity didn't start immediately after he moved in. At first, the apartment felt normal, quiet, uneventful, but that slowly began to change after he learned something disturbing about the person who had lived there before him. He was told that the previous tenant had lived alone for many years, rarely had visitors, and eventually passed away inside the apartment. The details were unclear, but neighbors said it took days before anyone realized he was gone, and ever since then, some residents claimed the apartment never felt the same. At the time, he didn't think much of it, until small things started happening. Coins he clearly remembered placing in one spot would appear somewhere else. Jars would slightly shift positions, and sometimes he would hear faint metallic tapping sounds late at night, like something lightly striking glass. When he told people, they called him crazy. So one day, he decided to set up his camera, hoping to finally prove that something was happening. Watch.
Hey guys, this coin, amazing. People aren't believing what's happening in this house. I've left this all night and all I've heard is it rattling inside. Now, I want you to witness what I'm going through here, because maybe if you just see for yourself, innit? This is what I'm dealing with. Are you angry because you're dead? What are you angry about? Is that it? Why are you with me? Why are you around me? What do you want? Knock the glass over. Is that it? Been doing it all night, come on. Take a break. What do you want? Guys, are you seeing it? Whoa. How is that possible? Come on, it's in a jar. At least they didn't lied to me. Cheers for that. Thank you. I am shit.
Some believe this could be the former tenant attempting to communicate, using the coin as a way to show his presence, especially since spirits are often said to manipulate small objects that require less energy. Coins, in particular, are commonly reported in paranormal encounters, sometimes seen as a symbolic attempt to get attention, almost like knocking, but in a way that cannot be mistaken for coincidence. Others believe it could be something more territorial, something that does not recognize the man as the rightful occupant. If the previous tenant spent years living there alone, forming a deep attachment to the space, some theories suggest his spirit may still see the apartment as his, reacting with agitation to the presence of someone new. But there is an even darker possibility. Paranormal researchers warn that entities capable of moving objects with that level of force may not be harmless at all. What begins with small manipulations, coins, jars, subtle disturbances can sometimes escalate, becoming more aggressive over time, especially if whatever is present grows stronger or more aware of the person living there. The violent nature of the coin's movement, the persistence, the intensity, makes some wonder if this wasn't simply an attempt to communicate, but a warning. Until more updates are shared, this unsettling case remains unsolved. This next video was recorded just a few days after Christmas, a time usually filled with warmth, celebration, and families enjoying the quiet calm that follows the holidays. On this particular day, the parents were out, leaving the kids home alone, something they were already used to. The house was peaceful, quiet in the way it normally is after the excitement of Christmas morning has passed. Wrapping papers cleared away, decorations still hanging, and new gifts settling into their places around the home. But at some point, the eldest son began hearing a strange sound coming from the kitchen. Confused and uneasy, he walked toward the kitchen to see what was causing it, and what he found made him immediately call his siblings to come and look. Watch.
Alright, you guys gotta see this cabinet. It's been moving, and oh my, you see? It's been moving open and shut by itself for 30 minutes now.
Holy shit, do you see that?
Dude, see, that's tripped down, man. I don't even know if I want to stay the night here tonight. Hey, Marco, I don't think I'm staying the night, dog.
And I don't think I'm gonna sleep. I'm gonna stay up until that stops.
No visible cause, and no draft strong enough to explain that kind of repeated movement. What makes this even more unsettling is that, according to the family, they had never experienced anything strange in the house before this day, which is why many people immediately connected this incident to the timing, the Christmas season itself. Across many cultures and paranormal beliefs, the holiday season is thought to be a time when the boundary between the living and the dead becomes thinner, a time filled with emotional energy, memory, tradition, and reflection. Some believe this energy can attract spirits, especially those connected to family, longing, or unfinished presents. Others say spirits may be drawn to homes during this season simply because of the warmth, the light, and the life inside. But it's also possible that something was unknowingly brought into the home during the holidays, like an old gift, a second-hand decoration, or an antique item. Objects can sometimes carry attachments, especially items with unknown histories. Something as simple as a thrifted ornament, an old toy, or even furniture could potentially bring more than memories with it. But what do you think? Now this next clip was captured around 3 a.m. a time long associated with unexplained activity, when a man suddenly woke up after hearing strange noises coming from outside his home. At first, the sounds were faint and unclear, like distant movement or low murmuring that didn't belong to anything familiar. Still half asleep, but deeply unsettled, he turned his attention toward the window, trying to figure out what could possibly be making those sounds at that hour. But when he looked outside, it wasn't just the noises that caught his attention. He saw something else. Watch closely.
Estoy escuchando ruidos afuera. Son 3:30 de la mañana. Voy a no sé si sale. Ahí está, hija de puta, de vuelta. Es ella. Yo no te voy a tener miedo. Hoy no te tengo miedo. No tengo miedo. Date vuelta. Date vuelta. Date vuelta. Date vuelta. Date vuelta. ¿Dónde estás?
A figure in white passes directly by his window. Whether this was a real person or something else entirely, both possibilities are deeply unsettling. Because if it was a person, that raises even more disturbing questions. Why would someone be silently walking around his property at 3 a.m.? Why dressed in white? And why disappear so quickly without leaving any trace? But what makes this encounter even more disturbing is that this wasn't the first time. According to him, there had been other nights when he saw figures outside, sometimes dressed in black, appearing briefly and then vanishing. And on certain occasions, the entire neighborhood would erupt with the sound of dogs barking all at once, as if reacting to something moving among them that humans couldn't fully see. Interestingly, there were also nights when the dogs didn't bark at all. So until more footage emerges, this disturbing encounter remains a mystery. In the following video is about a man named Aaron, whose life changed after he received terrible news from the police about the neighbor living directly beneath him. And if you've been following Aaron's story, you already know his apartment hasn't felt normal for a very long time. In the previous videos we shared, he attempted a spiritual cleansing ritual that ended badly, and many people questioned whether he had done it correctly, which is why this time he decided to try again, hoping to finally free his home from whatever seemed to be lingering there. For those unfamiliar with Aaron's story, everything began with a smell. For weeks he complained about a foul stench rising through his apartment floors, a thick, sickening odor that no amount of cleaning, ventilation, or searching could explain. And eventually, the horrifying truth was revealed. His neighbor had passed away inside his apartment, and his body had remained there undiscovered for weeks. By the time authorities found him, the damage had already been done. The hallway was sanitized, the apartment sealed, and on the surface, everything appeared resolved. But inside Aaron's apartment, things only got worse. Desperate for peace, Aaron decided to perform another cleansing ritual. Watch.
I'll be doing the red dragon blood sage to help me get rid of the spirit I have here. But first, I'm going to be placing this egg here in the center of the room. I'll place it right there. Come back. Okay. Here we go. So if there's a demon in here, you are not welcome. You have to leave. You're not welcome. Still smoking. It's barely lit. You know, people don't think that you're real. People actually think that you don't exist, but I want to show them. So show yourself. Don't be scared. Show yourself. Come out. Something's definitely showing itself. But it's okay because I got the sage and this. It's barely lit, but it's okay. It's still lit. I'm okay. I'm kind of scared to go around this corner. See, here we go. Okay. Actually gonna turn on this light. Right now I kinda don't wanna turn around. Okay. Well, if you're here, you have to leave. Or do something to this egg. Do something to this egg. Move it. Maybe it left out the window or something. Okay, let's go do the egg so I can leave my apartment. Okay, here's the egg. Nothing wrong with the egg, see? It's regular egg. First off, let me show you my hand. There's nothing on my hand. I want to get out of here. Okay, here you go. And again, I don't know why.
According to Aaron, instead of things improving, the sage seemed to make the activity worse, and most people saw it coming. In many spiritual traditions, eggs are believed to absorb negative energy when used in cleansing rituals, acting as a vessel that pulls harmful forces away from a person or environment. But there is one rule that practitioners strongly emphasize. Once the egg absorbs that energy, it must never be opened inside the home. It must be buried outside, far from where you live, because burying it symbolically traps whatever it has absorbed within the earth, sealing it away and preventing it from returning. But Aaron cracked the egg inside his apartment, and according to certain beliefs, that single mistake may have undone everything. So for now, we can only hope things get better. The following video was captured by a man's camcorder about 12 years ago, and according to him, that moment completely changed how he viewed reality, opening him up to the unsettling possibility that the line between the living and whatever exists beyond it may not be as clear as we assume. At the time, he lived along Tetagouche River Road, a place that, while quiet on the surface, had long been surrounded by uneasy local stories, including reports of shadowy figures appearing near the tree line at dusk, unexplained sounds echoing through the woods late at night, and the persistent feeling among residents that certain parts of the area were being watched even when no one was there. While these accounts were often brushed off as exaggerations or imagination, they were consistent enough to make people cautious, especially after dark. On a Tuesday afternoon, however, he experienced something that didn't feel like a story anymore, because with his camcorder running, he unintentionally recorded something that would later leave him with more questions than answers. Watch. At first, the footage appears completely normal, showing a quiet outdoor setting with nothing immediately drawing attention. But as you continue watching closely, a figure can be seen standing in the distance, positioned in a way that suggests it had been there the entire time without being noticed. What makes this moment unsettling is not just the presence of the figure, but the way it remains completely still, before suddenly disappearing within seconds, without any visible movement, transition, or attempt to leave the frame in a natural way. Moments like this are difficult to explain because there is no clear indication of someone walking away, hiding, or blending into the surroundings, which raises questions about whether what was captured was even a person to begin with. Some believe this could be connected to the history of the area, possibly a residual presence tied to past events, appearing briefly as part of an imprint left behind in the environment. Even now, years later, what he captured that afternoon continues to stand as one of those moments that feels too clear to dismiss, and like many cases tied to places with lingering stories, it remains unresolved. This next video captures a terrifying late-night experience inside a man's home, around 2 a.m., a time when everything is supposed to be quiet, predictable, and still. On this particular night, however, a loud, sudden bang echoes through the house, startling his dog, Frechol, and immediately pulling him out of whatever sense of normalcy he had left. For the past month, he has been dealing with a series of strange and increasingly difficult to ignore occurrences, including disembodied voices that seem to come from no clear direction, and moments where he feels something disturbingly close to him, as though someone or something is breathing right near his neck. While he had tried to rationalize these experiences at first, questioning his own perception, and wondering if stress or imagination could be playing a role, the consistency of these moments had already begun to wear down that explanation. So when he hears the bang that night, he grabs his phone, determined to finally capture proof that what he has been experiencing is real. Watch.
Hola. Ay, chinga tu madre. No mames.
As he moves toward the source of the noise, the camera begins to pick up something that immediately stands out, a pair of small hands appearing from a position where no one should be, their size and shape resembling that of a child. However, as he gets closer, the face that comes into view does not match the innocence suggested by those hands. That moment was enough for him to stop questioning everything he had experienced before. For now, he has chosen to leave the house temporarily, putting some distance between himself and whatever might still be inside, while sharing his experience in the hope that someone, somewhere, might be able to offer an explanation or even help him understand what he's dealing with. The following clip is about a man named Daniel Thompson, who occasionally returns to spend a few days at the family home where he and his sister grew up, a place that, despite the familiarity it should bring, has always left him with an uneasy feeling. One of the reasons he points to is his mother's unusual hobby, because over time she filled the house with a wide range of antiques, dolls, puppets, and other strange items collected from flea markets, thrift stores, and estate sales, many of which came with unknown histories. While most of these objects blended into the background, one in particular always stood out to him, a dollhouse that sat in his sister's room and consistently gave him a feeling he couldn't shake. Eventually, the discomfort became strong enough that they decided to move the dollhouse out of the room entirely, hoping that changing its location would ease whatever tension they felt around it. Watch what happened next.
Okay, it's official. I'm getting rid of this. The many figurines are moving. Like what?
After Daniel shared this footage, many people began to suggest that the issue might not have been the dollhouse itself, but rather the space it was moved into, because it had been placed in a storage room, an area that was already enclosed, quiet, and rarely used, which some believe could amplify or even trigger certain kinds of activity. Taking that into account, they decided to move the dollhouse back into his sister's room, expecting that returning it to its original place might settle whatever was happening. But instead, something else began. Watch.
Guys. Do you hear that? Those are the tapping noises I was talking about. Knocking at the door. Hello?
Daniel explains that almost every time he walks past that room now, he hears a faint knocking sound coming from inside, subtle but consistent enough to stand out. And for reasons he can't fully explain, he is convinced that the sound is coming directly from the dollhouse itself, rather than anywhere else in the room. At that point, the situation becomes harder to pin down, because if the activity followed the object, then it suggests the dollhouse may be the source, but if moving it into the storage room intensified things, then the environment may have played a role as well, leaving open the possibility that both the object and the space are somehow connected. So what exactly is going on here? You be the judge. Now this next clip was recorded at Pidhutski Castle, a historic site that has gained a reputation not only for its architecture, but also for the unsettling stories that have surrounded it for decades. Built in the 17th century, the castle has long been associated with reports of paranormal activity, with visitors and locals alike claiming to have experienced unexplained footsteps, sudden drops in temperature, and sightings of a mysterious figure often described as a woman dressed entirely in white. Some legends trace this presence back to tragic events tied to the castle's past, suggesting that whatever is being seen may be connected to unresolved history lingering within its walls. In this video, a man and his friends decide to explore the castle for themselves. But throughout their time inside, they begin to notice something that immediately puts them on edge. A repeated feeling that someone is moving through the rooms. Instead of dismissing it, they decide to try something more deliberate. When they got outside, they positioned their camera to capture a full view of the castle's windows, and caught this on camera.
Турецкий замок. Видите, какая краса. Супер. Такое с архитектурой. Ух, нифига себе. Андриана! Андриана!
In the footage, a figure in white can be seen moving across one of the windows. After this video was posted, it didn't take long for others who had visited the castle to come forward with their own experiences, sharing stories of seeing similar figures, hearing unexplained sounds, or feeling an overwhelming sense that they were not alone while inside. So if you've ever been to this place, drop a comment. The following video shows what one family has been dealing with ever since they casually decided to play with a Ouija board, an experience that, at the time, felt harmless and almost entertaining, but quickly became something they now associate with the beginning of a series of disturbing events inside their home. Now, if you were to ask the wife why she is constantly cleaning, rearranging, and trying to keep everything in order, it is not simply out of habit, but because of this.
Hell no. Stop with me. Stop with me right now. What the? Baby! Leave us alone!
In the footage, a bottle that had been on the table suddenly falls to the floor in a way that doesn't resemble an accidental slip, but instead looks as though it was lifted and dropped. Almost immediately after, a loud banging sound echoes from the direction of the door. Then the door closes on its own, followed by a bowl that had been sitting on the table beginning to slide before eventually falling. Situations like this often lead to speculation about whether the Ouija board may have played a role in triggering or inviting whatever is now present, especially since many believe that such tools are not just games, but methods of communication that, if not handled carefully, can open the door to something unknown. For now, the family is left trying to live around something they don't understand, holding on to routines and small comforts while sharing their experience in the hope that someone might recognize what they're dealing with. But for now, this remains unsolved. This next video was recorded inside the historic Snyder house, a location that has quietly built a reputation among urban explorers and paranormal enthusiasts for the kind of activity that doesn't always make itself obvious at first, but tends to linger in ways that are difficult to ignore. The house is often described as abandoned yet strangely preserved, with certain rooms still containing old furniture, mirrors, and personal items that give the unsettling impression that life there may have stopped suddenly, rather than naturally fading over time. In this video, a group of explorers enters the Snyder house, hoping to document its condition and possibly capture something unusual. But what they record ends up raising more questions than they expected. Watch. If you look closely, you'll see a figure. But what makes the moment particularly unsettling is how quickly that figure disappears. Moments like this tend to stand out in places like the Snyder house, because they align with the kinds of reports that have been shared over time. Now in this next clip, popular Midwest ghost hunter Ian continues his one in one of the most feared and talked about locations in Indiana, the Blackford County Jail, hoping to finally understand why so many unexplained incidents are still being reported there. For years, people have reported sightings of what they describe as a little person moving in the basement. Some believe it's the spirit of a former inmate, trapped and unable to leave, but others strongly disagree. They claim what's down there isn't paranormal at all. They believe it's something alive that hides and watches. Watch.
I kind of don't like having my back turned to those. Hello? Is there anybody down here? Well, they say that this hole is a portal that spirits can enter. If this is indeed a portal to the spirit world, could you come up out of that hole? Float upward towards me. Little person? Are you down here? Are there any prisoners down here? This is where they kept the worst of the worst. Oh!
After hearing that sound, Ian immediately freezes, listening carefully, trying to determine where it came from. Going down there alone didn't sound like a good idea, especially knowing the stories. So instead, Ian decided to wait, hoping to catch even the slightest movement that could explain what he just heard. And then, after a while, he sees this.
Whoa, 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 what did I just see? What did I just see? I just seen something on the ground. Holy crap. It didn't look like a person though.
For a brief moment, something appears small and low to the ground. Determined to finally uncover the truth, he slowly makes his way deeper into the basement, stepping toward the exact area where the figure had appeared. Watch.
Another corner. Oh God. Oh my God. It is so scary down here. Oh. I don't see anything over here. Creepy crawl space. Oh. I am not going in there. No. The person? Are you in there? Oh, dude, what if it snatches my arm? I hear you. He's gotta be down here. Oh. fucking rock just got thrown at me.
Suddenly, rocks are thrown in his direction, almost like a warning meant to stop him from going any further. And that realization alone is enough to make him think that he may not be alone in that basement after all.